When we talk about co-parenting, it often sounds like this thing you just have to get through. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? What if we treated it like a skill? Yeah, a really complex one for sure, but still a skill, something you can actually understand, practice, and get better at if you have the right blueprint. So let's dive into that. Look, we all get that logistics are a massive part of this, right? Who has the kids? What day is it? Who's picking them up? But that's just the surface stuff. The real question, the one we're going to dig into, is what's happening underneath all that scheduling? What are the core things that make a co-parenting relationship actually work for the kids? To get to the heart of that, we're not just going to guess. We're going to use a framework designed by experts to be our guide. This whole explainer is built around something called the CoTrackPro assessment, which is a tool that basically deconstructs this big, messy idea of good co-parenting into specific, measurable parts. It gives us a really clear map to follow. And here it is. This is our map. The full framework is built on these 10 key pillars you see here. Now, that looks like a lot, I know, but to make it way easier to digest, we're going to group all 10 of these pillars into 3 simple core themes that'll guide our conversation.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the blueprint for the parent partnership itself.
So this first theme is everything. It's the foundation of the whole structure, the parent partnership. And let's be clear, this is not about trying to be best friends. Think of it more like being effective business partners. And the business, it's raising a healthy, happy kid. So let's see what pillars hold up this team. Within this partnership idea, we've got 4 main things. First, how you two talk to each other. And really importantly, how you handle disagreements. Then, how consistent you are with rules and parenting styles. Third, the boundaries and basic respect you show each other. And finally, how you plan for the big stuff down the road. You get these 4 things working, and you create that stable, predictable world that every kid needs to thrive. This one question from the assessment just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? Notice it doesn't ask if you disagree, because of course you do. Everyone does. It asks how you manage it. Keeping those adult issues completely separate from your child's world, well, that is the absolute cornerstone of a strong parent partnership. All right, so let's move on to our second big theme. Once you've got that functional parent partnership in place, you can then shift the focus entirely to where it really belongs, on the child's direct, day-to-day experience of the world. So these 3 pillars cover the real core of a kid's life. We're talking about their emotional security, how they feel. We're talking about how they're supported with school and homework. And we're talking about their ability to have a rich social life, friends, sports, hobbies. It's all about making sure their world feels whole and supported no matter which parent's house they're at. Wow, this question really gets to the heart of this theme. A huge piece of a child's emotional well-being is feeling like they have permission to love both of their parents without any guilt. So actively supporting that bond, encouraging it, that is one of the most powerful and generous things a co-parent can ever do for their child. Okay, for our third and final theme, we are getting into the real nuts and bolts. This is all about the practical machinery that keeps the whole operation of raising a child across 2 different homes running smoothly. The pillars here are super concrete, very operational. We're talking about managing money and shared expenses for your child, handling the schedule so that it's reliable but also has a little bit of flexibility. And of course, coordinating all the health stuff from doctor's appointments to allergies to prescriptions. When this machinery is running well, it just lowers the stress for absolutely everyone involved. And this question right here, it grounds all those practical logistics in what truly matters. See, a scheduling conflict isn't just a problem on a calendar, it's a test. It's a moment where you have to decide what is actually best for your child. It's a great reminder that even the most practical, logistical decisions are, at their core, all about your child's needs. So, there we have it, our 10 pillars, organized across 3 big themes. But knowing all this is one thing. How do you actually turn this blueprint into action? The real power of a framework like this isn't to get some kind of final grade. It's about being able to pinpoint your strengths and maybe even more importantly, find concrete areas where you can grow. So, how in the world do you measure something this complex? Well, the assessment actually boils it all down to a 1,000-point scale. That number comes from 100 detailed questions, 10 for each of those pillars we talked about, and it's all designed to give you a clear, objective starting point for where things stand right now.
And here's kind of how those scores break down into a practical interpretation. Now, this is so important. This is not about judgment. It's a diagnostic tool. It's just there to show you, hey, you've got an excellent partnership, or maybe there are some pretty significant challenges that need attention. Just remember, it's a gauge, not a grade. It's just a tool to point you where to focus your energy.
And that right there is really the biggest takeaway from all of this. Chasing some perfect score of 1,000, that completely misses the point. The real goal of using a framework like this is to get on the same page, to figure out your shared priorities, and to build a collaborative, forward-looking vision for your child. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Instead of getting stuck on past arguments or disagreements, a framework like this encourages you and your co-parent to ask a much more powerful question. What kind of future are we, as a parenting team, building for our child? Answering that question together is what truly makes co-parenting work.